Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. This is Don Daniel. I'm founder of Pill Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And I just wanted you to know that this morning we are going to have opportunities to learn more about how debt is paid off, how we can understand exactly what is on with mortgages, with a loan, with all types of loans, whether it's a mortgage, whether it's student loans, whether it's credit cards, whether it doesn't really matter what it is. What matters is that we have an understanding of how it really works. You know, for the last Kenyatta, for the last 16 years, I've been teaching this, and and I've had opportunities to talk to people who do that, provide loans for people for a living, or are real estate agents, or they're CPAs, or they have their masters in business. And I asked the question: have you ever had a class on how loans actually work, how amortization works, and how you can defeat it? You know, I get the same answers all the time. The answer is no. And I'm trying to wonder, and I'm kind of wondering why. Why is it that that has been left out of our financial education? How loans actually work? Do you have a particular theory on that?
I believe it's because if we out how it really works, then we'll use it to our advantage. That would be my guess.
Yeah, but who has the power to keep that out of the curriculum? Because listen, we all use we use credit cards, we use mortgages to buy a house. Some of us borrow money to buy cars or invest in our educations. We borrow that money, and for some reason we're expected to automatically know how they can work best for us. How did we get to the point where we just totally accept as a nation that we automatically know how to use these financial tools without taking one class on how loans actually work? But somehow we feel as if we already know and we don't need any education. How did that happen?
It was some time ago, I believe 88 years ago, that they decided that they should keep this away from us. And I believe it was a concerted effort, both the government and the banks, wanting us not to. You want to know what's a phenomenon to me? That the bankers that work for the banks, that they don't even know.
Yeah, that is something. And you know what? They don't even realize that they don't know. And that's the thing. And this is what is so amazing about what we do here at the Pill Method is to make sure people know the truth about how these loans actually work. So I want to check in with our producer, Kurt. Kurt, how's our of the audio coming across for myself and from Clubhouse?
The audio is clean for both you and Clubhouse, actually. Things are sounding great today. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning to you. And
Good morning, Kurt. You did an amazing job in Nashville. I just wanted you to know spiritual money mindset wouldn't have been the same without you.
Thank you so much, Kenyatta. I truly appreciate that.
listen, man, I heard some feedback about that today. You know what I heard
Mm,
from somebody who was actually watching it, the spiritual money mindset um, from the live broadcast, and what they said was they could hear, they could see, and not only that, but the graphics. They mentioned the graphics, man.
wow, wow, wow.
The graphics were good. They said there was a break in between speakers. There was, and then there was a graphic introducing the next speaker. So, and
Right.
what they were talking about. They
Excellent.
said they saw all of that. And Kurt, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. When you were putting all this together, I had no idea that that kind of thing was important to do. So you added an extra layer
Absolutely.
that I had no idea existed or was even important, but that extra layer people picked up on.
Oh, that's so awesome. That is so awesome. And then that's exactly the point. I mean, of course, when production is done well, it's seamless, it's in the background. You're not supposed to notice it, not from the standpoint of pointing it out, but definitely we want to make sure that it enhances the message because the message is the main point. And of course, Don, as I've mentioned to you before, privately, I'll say it publicly. You and the team really knocked it out of the park. The content was top shelf, just absolutely amazing. I've gotten a chance to go back through several of the sessions, take more notes. It is absolutely it is yeah, life-changing stuff. Changing your mindset for sure around money, but also from a spiritual standpoint.
Listen, thank you so much. So, Kenyatta, a couple of from the spiritual money mindset, a couple of takeaways from you. Did you did you did you come away with something?
Did I? First off, I think for me, I'm very conscientious about my surroundings. And so just being at the Gaylord was an experience all of its own. And then meeting the people in the audience, there were some amazing people that were participants and getting a chance to talk with them. And a lot of them took advantage of the complimentary consultations that I offered. All in all, I think it was the perfect blend of opportunity, education, and inspiration. I got the chance to talk to Dee Dee, the wife of Eric Thomas, and kind of hone in on how she did what she did as a queen because he credits her with everything that he is. And so just having that one-on-one dialogue, I don't think I would have ever able to do. And it was absolutely something I've always wanted to do since I'm a fan of theirs. And then, like Kirk said, the information that came forth, I think I was able to digest it a lot better, because I've heard each of these speakers, I've taken the classes and everything, and I still walked away with something. And so, job well done, Don. You did a fantastic, amazing job, and I can't wait to the next one.
All right, all right, all right. So listen, folks, we're going to jump right in here and start talking about how to pay off mortgages in 7 years. But one of the things that I noticed that I did not know before. So, Kenyatta, I see you have somebody pictured with you there. Tell us about that picture, your PTR there. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. That's Dr. Eric Thomas, you guys. And so we got the chance to take a picture with him and talk with him. And it was amazing to be able to pick the brain just for a millimeter of a, moment, of this big, larger than life guy. And I have to say, Don, that picture gets talked about more than you know. It's like everybody want to know where I was, how did I meet him, and all of these things. But I guess it's called access, and so I'm telling you, I'm forever grateful for the opportunity. Thank you.
Well, you were one of our speakers, and I appreciate you bringing the message that you brought. But you said something to me that I didn't expect. What
What was that?
you said something about being a speaker at this event. Like, I knew you had a message, but it just seemed like you were surprised to be asked to be a speaker. I mean, did I
So
misunderstand that?
no, so I'm an educator and I'm a speaker, right? But the magnitude of which that event was. To be asked was an honor and a privilege to be mentioned among the likes of Miss Cooper Home Loans, Otis James, Jay Massey. I could go on and on. People that I revere and admire. So for me, I've been, doing the serving and facilitating and making sure everybody message get out, but to be mentioned amongst them as a speaker was It was life changing, honestly. Yeah.
So, what does that say to you about an opportunity that comes along, but you were obviously prepared for it? You said you were an educator, you're a speaker, you had opportunities, obviously, to speak before. So, talk to the folks just a few minutes about when that opportunity comes to jump on a stage like that particular stage that you take. What did you do to prepare yourself for that time when the opportunity presented itself?
To prepare you guys, I had all kind of speeches written. I wanted to come so many different ways because it's so many facets to being able to loan on rehab projects and to loan money to businesses. But what I really felt in my heart was to ditch it all, honestly, Don, and speak to the people in a way in which I felt they could relate, right? Which is life experiences, because that nobody can take away. So I relied heavily on my business as 20 plus years an entrepreneur, and the pitfalls and the glories that I was able to have, and so to let them know how I did it all with my own strength, my own money. And that was like the worst thing that I could have ever did, because there is options out there to leverage other people money, to be able to access capital with little to no money of your own, and you're able to scale at a bigger rate and faster rate. So what I really wanted to do was say, don't do what I did. Go ahead and utilize the information that's out here. Make sure that you listen to all the speakers like Anthony Glenn with the 529 education plan and all of the knowledge that he dropped. To go ahead and take this and run with it and do not dismiss it, because what everybody was doing was bringing real life experiences, me included.
Well, just one last thing, with Kenyatta. But when you gave your talk, I mean, it was concise, it was on point, it had a beginning, it had a middle, it had an end, and to get that kind of content in such a short space of time, it seems to me that you were prepared for something like this a long time ago. You didn't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna wake up one day and I'm going to speak on this stage." So tell the people what it means to practice, to take every opportunity to speak, so that when the big opportunity comes, you're going to be ready. Talk to us about taking advantage of other opportunities to be ready for this opportunity.
So I was very intentional after coming on Clubhouse about, you know, taking action. I did not know who the key players were going to be. I had no idea of what of my life was going to be pulled out. I had just no idea. But every time something was asked of me, I did it, and I did it to the best of my abilities. I showed up as 100% Kenyatta, not watered down, not trying to be something I'm not. um and I really feel like people resonate with integrity and authenticity, and so that's what I represent. I want people to know that no, I am not a multimillionaire, but I am wealthy, and what I am able to provide is some insight. I believe that I'm a connector of people to other great people. And so in preparation, it was meeting you. It was meeting Miss Cooper Home Loans at an event, and actually furthering those connections, nurturing those connections, and honestly had no really preconceived notion of what it was going to bring. Just wanted to serve the people that was giving so much information to me. I also want to just shout out Jared, since he just came into the room, master moderator. I learned a lot. He doesn't even know that I was under his tutelage, but I rely heavily on him for etiquette in Clubhouse and things like that. I just took it serious, I guess, is what It was. I took every opportunity serious because I felt like if people were going to be under the sound of my voice, I wanted to enhance them in however I can.
Thank you so much, Kenyatta. But Jared, I think she just threw you a lob, man. so,
Yes.
so talk. So listen, do what you do as a master moderator, and not only that, but tell us a little bit about your takeaway from the spiritual money mindset, and let's get into today's topics. What do you say?
Yeah, that'd be great. So the experience was amazing. Dr. Eric Thomas really just talked about living life with urgency. Very powerful exercise about, what day do you want, how long do you want to live, right? And we don't have control over that, but we do have control over is how we show up every single day, how we should be intentional, and how do we, go after our goals. So it was just extremely motivating to think about taking urgency and then also instilling all the things that were taught that weekend around credit, around how to underwrite homes, look into real estate, and just mindset overall. It was really great for me just to talk about my story and how I got to where I was, and just an inspiring event, an inspiring weekend. So can't wait to have the recording out and to share how we can, basically share that experience with everybody that wasn't able to be there, because there's so many gems dropped, not only from an educational standpoint, but also from a motivational standpoint. With that being said, though, I just want to welcome everybody to the Pill Method Club. If you've not been in this club before, click the greenhouse at the top. And we're about to give you some mind-blowing information around how to save significant money on interest costs over your lifetime, whether it's your mortgage, credit cards, student loans, or car loans. What Don is about to share with you right now is going to be extremely impactful. So this is a very interactive room. This room ends at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And we'd love for this to be interactive. So if you have a question about, should I do a 15-year mortgage versus a 30-year? Should I do a 30-year versus a 40? How much should I put down on my initial down payment? What should I do when it comes to refinance? How do I deal with these high interest rates right now? What should I do about my student loans, my credit cards, my car loans? Please raise your hand, come on stage. There are no dumb questions because your accountant, your real estate agent, your financial advisor, nobody was taught this information because the banks do not want you to understand the strategies that will save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest costs into them that can be redistributed to your children's inheritance. So love for you to raise your hand, come on stage. And this is actually being streamed on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. And we invite you to get on your laptop, your desktop, or your iPad and watch these examples that Dawn is going to go through via your device on a big screen while you're still in Clubhouse on your phone. And in order to get there, you can go to ice10kvideos.com and you can also read the instructions in the chat. But ice10kvideos.com, go there on your iPad, laptop, or desktop, and you'll be able to see how this works and how interest gets canceled off of your mortgage, off of your car loans, etc. So with that being said, we are going to open up the hand raising. So if you have a question from Stoic, what's up, Stoic? Good to see you, brother, all the way down to Myrna. We'd love to get our first question from the audience. So if anybody can raise their hand, come on stage. We would love to answer a question. If there are no questions to kick it off, then Don, if you haven't introduced yourself already and explain what the pill method is, then let's go ahead and jump into an example. So what's the first example you want to get into?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Don Daniel, founder of Pill Method International. It's a better way to eliminate debt. And for the last 16 years, we've been teaching individuals how to read and understand an amortization schedule, how loans actually work. And when you find out how loans actually work, you'll find out that it is not imperative. It is not automatic that you should keep these loans forever. The reason why we pay loans for such a long time is because we don't understand how the interest portion works. It is believed that all the interest that the bank wants, we are required to pay. Nope, that's not true. We're not required to pay every single dime of the interest that they want to charge us. What we're required to do is pay back the money that we borrowed, but we don't have to pay it back in the way they want us to pay it back. Because in the way they want us to pay it back, folks, it is the most inefficient way possible. What do I mean by inefficient? Okay, so when you pay $1 toward your loan, and when you pay that dollar to pay back the loan, do you want the whole dollar to go to the loan? Or do you want just 30 cents of your dollar to go to the loan and 70 cents of your dollar to go to interest? Now you tell me, which do you want? Okay. And so what we're trying to tell you is the bank would love it if we would just keep that formula. 70 cents of every dollar we pay towards the loan goes to them in interest to enrich the banks. And only 30 cents of your dollar goes to pay down the loan itself. I'm trying to tell you that we can switch that around where 70 cents of your dollar goes to the loan and only 30 cents or less goes to the bank. How would you like to be able to cut your interest cost by 75% using your current budget? You don't need to make more money. What you need to do is pay less interest. Let me put an example on the screen of that, something that we did not long ago. All right. So here's a situation where we have a loan of $156,000. Okay. $156,000. All right. And it's a 30-year mortgage, right? And then once you take a look at this thing, you will be able to see online. And if you're not looking at it online, please do. Let's remind folks one more time, especially if they're new, how they can see this example so that they can stop sending 30 cents of every dollar to their loan and 70 cents of every dollar they pay towards the loan to interest. All right, go ahead.
Yes, yes. So if you just entered the room and you want to see these examples live on your screen, walk over to your iPad or a desktop or your laptop, type in ice10kvideos.com into the browser. That's going to take you to Don's YouTube channel. You're going to go ahead and choose episode 89. There should be a red dot that shows live. Click that. A commercial will play. Go ahead and let the commercial play. But once the commercial is over or you're able to skip the commercial, you'll be inside of Don's studio. Well, he'll be breaking down these examples live on your screen. And also want to shout out Credit Goddess, who just showed up. And before Don jumps into the example, Credit Goddess, please introduce yourself real quickly. And while Credit Goddess is introducing herself, if somebody has a question that they want to see on the screen regarding your mortgage, your refinance, etc., raise your hand. If not, though, Don has an example primed and ready. But Credit Goddess, please introduce yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Happy Wednesday, everyone. My name is Rosalora Lewis, also known as Credit Goddess, all things credit, and the official credit expert for the P.I.L.L Method crew. If any of you guys have any questions credit related, definitely come on up and ask your questions. Don will be more than happy to explain the P.I.L.L Method to you guys in detail, and I'll be more than happy to answer your credit questions. If you're wondering if this is the best time to purchase a home, even though the interest rates are going up, ask Don how it is to pay off, how cheap it is to pay, even though you're paying a higher interest rate. If that just interests you, just come on up and ask your question. Thank you guys so much for having me.
All right, folks, let's get into this thing. Listen, I want you to know right now that what you're getting ready to see online, all right, what you're seeing online right now is a perfect example of a 30-year loan that doesn't need to take 30 years. Now, Here's what you want to understand about this, about this particular example. This particular lady has only the one job, qualified for the loan with the income from that job, and was perfectly okay with paying the loan the way that the bank said so until somebody told her she didn't have to. The thought was immediately, where do I get the extra money to pay off the loan faster? That was the immediate thought. And that's where most people's minds go, because that's what we're taught. She was so surprised that I said, all I want to know is how much you currently make, how much goes to the bills currently, and how much money you have left over after you pay your bills. That's all I need to know, because now we're going to show you how you can disrupt the bank's timing, give them back their money in a way that makes it impossible for them to charge you all that interest. Oh, she was so happy. But you know what? Kind of skeptical, because nobody had ever told her about this before. Nobody had ever said, you know what? You can use your current budget and not sacrifice lifestyle and get out of debt faster and cheaper. No one had ever said, you need just to pay less interest. So let me give you an example of that right now. We're going to get into that. Let's watch this. So in normally at her interest rate of 4%, $156,000 in the first 5 years. Okay, watch this. In the first 5 years, she would have paid this mortgage down by $14,000. This is in the green over here. $14,949.52. But it would have cost $29,000 in interest to do that. So $29,879.48. Folks, look at this. This is typical in the first 5 years, even at 4% interest rate, but this 4% is amortized, and amortization does crazy things to a loan. You end up paying way more interest than you ever thought. The interest rate you're quoted is not the interest rate you end up paying. I need you to take a look at this little box here that says effective interest rate. It says here that your 4% loan, your 4% mortgage really means that you're going to pay back 71.87% of what you borrowed in the form of interest. What does that mean? If your loan was $100,000 for 30 years, a 30-year mortgage, and your loan was $100,000, here's how much interest the bank wants at 4%. $71,870 on a $100,000 loan. I'll repeat that. $100,000 borrowed on a 30-year mortgage. The bank wants you to pay back at 4%, $71,870 interest on a $100,000 loan. Folks, how in the world is that 4%? It's not. Okay. And because the way that the banks do this is they don't take the $100,000 and say, okay, what's 4% of $100,000? And that's what we're going to charge you. No, that's not what they do at all. What they do is they charge you 4% on the unpaid balance every single month. So it's not one mortgage that you have. They want to turn this into 360 separate mortgages. 360 separate mortgages. I'm going to go through this example. And if Credit Goddess, if you don't have a client, would you be so kind as to be able to explain to us how the bank takes this particular mortgage and turns it into 360 separate mortgages? Can you do that for us this morning?
I sure can.
So let me go through this and let me show you because what we're doing is cutting down the opportunities for them to do exactly what Credit Goddess is getting ready to show you. So if I were you, folks, I'd start pinging some people in here, because for the first time, you're going to be able to see how in the world that amortization turns this mortgage not from 4%, but into 71.87%. Credit Goddess was going to take us through the math and to see how they actually do that. So watch this. So in 5 years, the bank wants you to pay $29,879.48 in interest just to pay down your loan by $14,949. So in other words, in the first 5 years, here's what the bank wanted from this young single mother with 2 children. $44,829 paid to the bank, but only $14,949 of that money paid off the loan. The rest of that money went to interest, or what I like to call rent on your money. So the bank wants you to rent their money for your entire life. Yeah. So that interest is nothing more than rent on your money. You go from renting an apartment or renting your house that you're living in, you go from that to renting money your entire life. So what we want to do, folks, if you have thought, if somebody told you it's not a good idea to rent your entire life, then we want to also talk about it's not a good idea to rent money your entire life. You want your money to make money for you and not someone else. Even though you may have a W-2 job, even though you are not an entrepreneur, maybe you don't own a business, but everybody who earns money can, according to Credit Goddess, take their money and make that money make money babies, so that your money starts working for you instead of you working for money. And everybody can do that. Is that right, Credit Goddess? Oh,
That's absolutely right.
everybody can get to the point where your money works for you instead of you working for your money. So let's get everybody to the bag this morning. So here's what we're talking about. The total amount of interest that the bank wants on this $156,000 mortgage, here it is, $112,477.46. Dang, that's a lot of money. $112,000 interest or rent, just to rent the money to purchase the house. So how do we pay less rent? How do we pay less interest? That's the question today. Watch this. So on the left side of the screen, you will see how the bank wants you to pay back this loan. Hold on for a second. I need to get a quick drink of water. All right, I'm back. So listen, folks, as you can see, $156,500 for 30 years. The bank wants $112,477.46. Or you can take the right side and do this instead. You can pay $28,050.40 to rent the money. And then if you do that, then all of the rest of the money goes to the loan to pay it back. And now you're done in 6.7 years. 6.7 years as opposed to 30. Now, this mother she's not making any extra money. She's not depriving her kids of a great lifestyle, because we plug the lifestyle money in first as part of the budget. She says, I got small kids. I need to create memories for the kids. So we need to have money set aside every month for nothing else but to spend on the family and our enjoyment. So we plug that in first. There's a gentleman in Nashville, Tennessee that says, nope, that's not the way it's done. The way that it's done is that you take all of the money, Even the money that's meant for enjoyment, throw that money at the debt. And then when the debt is finally paid off, folks, then you can start living your best life. But the way they go about it, it's going to take you 15, 16 years to pay it off instead of 30. And then your 5-year-old by that time is 20 and missed out on having a great lifestyle because the money that was earmarked for their lifestyle was used to pay down debt the wrong way. I hope everybody is getting this. I hope everybody is understanding where we're going with this. Okay. It shouldn't take 15, 16 years to pay it off faster. You should be done in 6.7 years while you're having fun with the family. Do not sacrifice your lifestyle to pay off debt. The sacrifice comes from where? Cutting the bank's interest cost. That's the sacrifice I need you to make. I need you to learn how to make the bank. So say, listen, stop charging me all that interest and charge me this much. And so watch this. So instead of paying $112,000 in interest, she's only going to pay $28,050.40 using our methodology, paying off $156,500 in 6.7 years. And listen, saving $89,000 in interest she'll never have to pay. Wow. Come on. What is she going to do with that $89,000? She doesn't have to pay an interest. She's going to invest it in her family and grow her wealth. That's exactly what she's going to do. Miss Credit Goddess, before we get into some of the other ideas of how all of this works, we need to understand how the bank turns 4% interest into 71.87% interest. And I'm going to, while you're setting this thing up, I'm going to put something on the screen. I'm going to put a $200,000 mortgage up on my other screen. Okay. Yep. You know what? Let's use this same mortgage. 150. Let's use this same one. $156,500 at 4%. Let's do that. Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Fantastic. All right. So let me get everything ready here so I can switch screens. All right. And so we're going to stop share there. All right. And then share a different screen. There we are. Okay. So $156,500. All right. At 4%. All right. And then there we are. The payment is $747.15. That is the principal and interest on this loan. Folks, I need everyone to see this because very few people, even mortgage and real estate investors and real estate agents, do not understand what you're getting ready to learn right now. And if you're new to the room, you need to be able to see this. So let's invite all the people who are new to the room to see this and all the people who've already been here. Let's go ahead and share the room so other people can see as well.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you want to see the room, the instructions are in the chat, but I'll read it off for you. If you're not able to see that, go to your laptop, your iPad, or your desktop, type in ice10kvideos.com. Once you get there, you're going to click, it's going to take you to the YouTube channel. Click the button or click the episode that says episode 89, the one that's live. Click that. And after the commercial plays or after you're able to skip the commercial, you'll be able to see Dawn in the studio. And if you want to share this in the hallway, which we really, really would appreciate you sharing this message to as many people that are up this morning, that are on Clubhouse, there's a number 9 at the bottom in between the chat and the scissors. Please go ahead and click that box with the arrow Once you do that, you'll see at the bottom it says share on Clubhouse. It's a little yellow hand. Go ahead and click that share on Clubhouse, and then go ahead and click that blue button that says share. And if you want to say why you're recommending the room, even better. So I see a hand was raised. Mike Bless, we just invited you to the stage. We appreciate and we look forward to audience questions. The more interactive it is in the room, not only is it better for you as the person asking the question, because you're going to be able to get specific guidance around your student loans, your car loans, your credit card debt, or your mortgage. But it's good for the audience because the back and forth really helps you understand the P.I.L.L method better with the questions that are asked. So with that being said, Don, Michael Bless has just joined the stage. So if you want to finish out this next example, and then we'll throw it to Michael, or if you just want to have Michael ask his question, either way works. So just let me know what you prefer.
All right. Well, this is only going to take a couple of seconds. Hey, Michael, can you come off mic? I'd like to ask you a question right quick. So,
Okay.
hey, Michael, do you have 2 or 3 minutes so that we can finish this explanation, and then we can take your question? Would that be okay? We can't hear you.
Yes, I'm listening to the thing. I have a question to ask later on.
Okay, great. So, yeah, if you can give us 2 or 3 minutes, that would be great. All right. Credit guidance. All right, here we go. So,
Yes.
folks, you're seeing this on the screen right now. $156,500. And when the first payment that breaks down, all right, I need you to see the summary that the bank wants $112,474 in interest, all right, on this loan. Total interest paid, 112,000. If you look over to the right, you will also see total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 71.868%, just like we showed you on the other screen. Okay, so now we're going to scroll down to payment number 1, and out of that payment of $747.50, look at there, only $225.48 goes to principal. $521.67 goes to interest, and we only reduce the loan by this amount, the $225.48. And so we have left to pay the bank on line 1 of the amortization schedule $156,274.52. So credit goddess, it's on you. Help us to understand now how the bank turns this into a fantastic windfall for them.
Yes. So, hey everyone on YouTube, all 17 folks on here. I know you guys are here to see the example, and this is going to blow your mind. I know math wasn't everyone's favorite subject, but I am going to show you how interest rates are calculated, so that way you know what you're paying every time you make your monthly payment. So how did they come up with this number, $112,000 in 30 years? Is because they charge you 4% every single month on the remaining balance that's owed. All right. Hey, you want to borrow 156,000? Okay, well, I'll charge you 4% every single month until you pay me back. That's pretty much what it is. Okay, so let's do the math. The formula is you take the principal balance, you multiply it by the interest rate, which gives you the APR. Then you take the APR, which is the annual percentage rate, you divide it by 12 to know what your interest rate is for that month. Then you take the interest amount and subtract it from your monthly payment, and whatever that's left is the principal amount that's going to go, is the amount that's going to go towards the principal, right? And then you're charged 4% next month. So let's do the math. Let's take 156,000 times 4%.
I'm putting it in 156,000.
274. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to do line 1.
Yep, we're going to do line 1.
Okay, we're going to do
274,000.
Okay.
And 52 cents.
156,274 and 52 cents.
Yes.
Okay. So So what we're trying to figure out is from this, how much interest we're supposed to pay on line 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right.
So we're going to multiply that by 4%.
Multiply that by 4%. So multiply it by 0.04, right?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. And we get $6,250. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's $6,250. That's the APR. That's the annual percentage rate that of the year.
Okay.
We're going to divide it into 12 because we want to know what we're paying for that month, not the year.
Oh, I get it now. So all right. So we take that and and then we divide that
by 12.
by 12. So now we're going to get the interest for that month.
Yeah.
All right. We get $520.92 because since it's the 5 here in the third place, then we have to round it up to the next number. Oh, look here, Credit Goddess. 520 on line 2 of this schedule, $520.92, just like you said.
Yes.
And so what they're doing is they're not taking the 156,000 and multiplying it by 4%.
No.
They're taking the unpaid balance and multiplying it by 4% for the month for every single month for 360 separate mortgages. 360 times we're getting charged instead of just one time.
Yes.
Wow. That is a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
That's where it comes from. So it's not one mortgage, it's 360 separate mortgages.
Yes.
Credit Goddess, thank you so much for breaking that down. And so what we want to do is if I can pay, let's say if I can pay, let's say if I do this, all right? So I make my regular mortgage payment here. Let's say we make that regular mortgage payment in January. All right. I made the regular mortgage payment in January. And then I'm paid down to here. All right. So if the bank's computer sees that I owe $156,274.52 in the 1st of February, then they're going to do that little bit of math on the $156,274. And then I have to pay them $520.92 in interest the next month, if that's what they see, correct?
Yes.
So what if I do this? I make my mortgage payment. And what if I take a look at the principal payment for line 2? And before February comes, I give the bank an additional $226.23. I give that to them ahead of time. So I'm paid down to $156,048.29 on line 2. If I do that, then they have to do their calculation not on line 1, but they have to do their calculation on the principal balance on line 2, correct? Wow.
Yes.
Which then gives me the amount that I need to pay on line 3. This becomes my new February payment. And because of that, I get to skip this $520.92 that I never have to pay. I just reduced my overall interest bill by $520.92. So folks, watch this. If we do the same thing, make a payment, let's say we make that payment in January and give the bank an extra $226 from this line, $226.99 from line 3, and $227.75 for line 4. If I give the bank all 3 of those, guess what just happened? I skipped the interest cost on this line I don't have to pay. Over $1,500 in interest I never have to pay because of that. And my next mortgage payment for February is on line 5 of this schedule. Folks, we don't need to pay them every single We need to make a mortgage payment every single month, but not in the way that they're saying. We can skip a ton of these payments when we know what to do. So since we have to pay every single month, let's not pay 360 months. Let's pay like 87 months. Let's pay like 90 months or 92 months, but not 360 months, by knowing exactly what to do. Credit Goddess, thank you so very much for helping us to understand that. Michael, I'm glad that you're here today, sir. What is your question?
And Michael, real quickly before you get to the question, Don, if somebody wants to figure out how can they, instead of paying 360 months, pay 90 months or even less than that, what is the way that they can do that via the link up top?
All right, great. So what you would do, folks, you would click on the link up top, but if you're streaming, you can't see it. It is ICE, stands for Interest Cancellation Expert. You want to type into your browser ice10kreport.com. ice10kreport.com. That will take you to our website, and then you'll see this is how you get a savings and earnings report. Get a savings and earnings report. And so you would follow the directions there on that page, put in your cell phone number, and then click confirm, and then wait for us to send you a code as a message. When you get that code, then input that code into the website, and it will let you into a financial form. Fill out the form. Someone from my staff will give you a call, set up a consultation, and then you can know the month, day, and year you will be debt free and how much interest you can save. So if you're on Clubhouse, click on the link. If you're watching the live stream, then go to ice10kreport.com, and then you can take advantage of all of this information today. All right, Jared, back to you, sir.
Awesome. So, Michael, we really appreciate your patience. Please ask your question, and also want to welcome Vernita to the stage. Click on her profile, read it, and I highly recommend you follow her, Credit Goddess, Kenyatta, and Don Daniels especially, because your hallway is curated by who you follow. If you're new to Clubhouse and you're wondering, where do I see more content like this? By following people that do rooms, that come on stages, you'll be notified and you'll get some really groundbreaking information and great content. So make sure you follow Vernita, Credit Goddess, Kenyatta, Don, and myself if you want to see a lot of good content on this app. All right, Michael, we are coming to you. Thank you so much for your patience. If you can click that microphone icon in the lower right-hand corner and let us know what your question is, and we'd be happy to assist.
I'm trying to pull out cash for the down payment for my new building, but they try to say I need to pay 4% interest to pull it. And I want to know that it's a good idea for me to pull it for down payment for my new building.
Okay, I could barely hear that. Did anybody get his question? Or Michael, could you repeat it and speak just a little bit louder for us?
I'm trying to get a new building right now. I'm trying to pull out cash for my old building, but they want to charge me 4.5 interest rate for pulling 100 grand from my old building to put it down to my new building. And I want to know that if it's a good idea.
Oh, so here's what I'm hearing. You want to cash out refi, so that you could put a down payment on a new building. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So now, is there a minimum amount that you need to put down, or are you trying to put more than the minimum amount down?
I'm trying to put, they say I need to put a 20%.
You need to put 20% down.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, here's what I've learned over the years from doing this. Anytime you can cash out refi and you putting it down on a commercial building that's going to be it's going to make you money. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you have to take a look at how much it's going to cost you to borrow the money, and then look at how much it's going to make you to purchase the building. So here's my question. Do you believe you're going to make more money than the interest they're going to charge you for borrowing the money? That's the question. What do you think?
Now I'm just looking for the building. The building's price is like too much. That last time I bought mine, so I'm trying to figure out whether it's a good idea for me to do that or not.
Okay. So would you say that would be something you would want to know? So if whatever I'm going to make per month on this building, whatever I'm going to make, would it would have to be, if it's going to be a good deal, it would have to be more. I would have to make more than the interest I would have to pay for borrowing the money. That would be, would that be a prerequisite? Is that something that you would definitely want?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to grab couple buildings for invest in.
Okay. Then we would have to see all of the numbers and and then do an analysis of the situation. But here's the overall arching thing you need to keep in mind, Michael. You want to in your deal, you want to make more money than it costs you to borrow the money. That's going to be key. Now, how much more you make, that's going to be important as well. Where you don't want to be is that borrowing the money costs you more than the money you can make for purchasing the asset. You don't want to be upside down on the deal. That's a given. So all we need to do is figure out if you're going to be making more money as a result of the deal. And then you can, but that's what we call leverage. So if I can leverage somebody else's money, okay, and just to make it simple, if it cost me $500 to do something, but I can make $1,000 for doing that thing, then it never cost me $500. Okay. I made $500. It's a net benefit. There is no cost if you're making more than the investment. There is no cost. There's only a net benefit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So if you would like to know, all right, would you like for us to help you with figuring out how that all comes together for you?
Yes.
Okay. So here's what you could do. You can hit me up on the back channel. All right. And then we're going to get your information as well. And then you can get with somebody from my staff. You can either go to ice10kreport.com and put in your financial information, or we could set up an appointment with one of our staff so that we can get the information from you, and then we can do do a consultation, and we can help you to determine whether borrowing the money in this case is going to make you more money than the fees that you're going to pay to borrow. All right, and so we would help you to do that. But
Michael,
in most
I'm
cases,
sorry.
you can get that done. Go ahead, Kenyatta.
I just wanted to let him know also that if you need any assistance on refinance, that I am available. I went ahead and sent you a message on back channel.
Okay.
Good enough. Good enough. And Kenyatta is our resident lender here, and she can definitely help you with that. And then by all of us working together, we can then figure out if this is going to be a good deal for you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So what part of the country are you in, sir?
I'm in New Hampshire, Manchester.
You where?
New Hampshire, Manchester.
Okay. Great. Listen, it's great to talk to you this morning, and I'm hoping to be able to talk to you very, very soon. All righty. Jared, back to you, sir.
Awesome. Appreciate the question, Michael. And we welcome any new questions on the stage. Feel free to raise your hand and come to the stage and ask any questions that you might have. And thank you to the 16 people that have shared the room thus far. Definitely love for you to click that button and continue to share the room. But one question I have for you, Don, is you have a best-selling book out on Amazon, and I changed the link to ice10klive.com, which is your 10K card, where they can find the instructions to get the book. But not only that, but you add a little extra value on top of that for those that purchase the book. Can you tell people a little bit about the book, what's in it, what the value is? And then also, myself and Kenyatta will share that little extra value that you are contributing as a thank you to everybody that supports buying the book. So Don, go for it.
Listen, what we're talking about, folks, what I showed earlier today is how a single mom was able to understand how she could not have to pay a 30-year mortgage for 30 years, and how she could pay it off in 6.7 years with her current budget without sacrificing lifestyle. That kind of information is found in my book. It is the only book on Amazon out of 33 million titles that talks about how to read and understand an amortization schedule and how to defeat it, how to make it work for you instead of working for the bank. And it also gives you an introduction to what we call an opportunity cost calculator. It is a cloud-based computing platform that helps you to understand exactly what to do, how much money to move, what month to move it in, what day of the month to move it on, and then which loan to attack, so that you can save the maximum amount of interest that's mathematically possible for you. I'm telling you, once you understand these principles, prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity, then you begin to understand how we have been told this is a simple thing to do, how it is not simple, but we have taken a very complicated system and we have simplified it for you in this book. And I'm telling you, and then we broke it all the way down. It's not 500 pages. It's not going to take you a year to read. Is we broke this thing down and made it about 100 pages. Some people have read it in as little as one afternoon and got so much value out of that. In fact, I was talking to a young man yesterday, and here's his story. He was listening to us on Clubhouse. All right. He's literally getting ready to purchase a home. And I talked to him yesterday because we did a pop-up room. He says, just before closing, I was going to put an extra $40,000 as a down payment on my loan. But by listening to this through this broadcast and purchasing the book, he found out that putting $40,000 as a down payment was the wrong thing to do. He pulled out of the deal, restructured the deal, and says, now I am not going to put an extra $40,000 down. I'm going to keep that $40,000 back. Got the new loan and then paid his $40,000 as a prepayment to the loan. And by doing that, he knocked off almost, what was it? It was almost 5 years off the loan. Almost 5 years off, and saved over $100,000 in interest because he didn't put that money as a down payment. He used it as a prepayment. And this is why we teach never, ever, 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 ever never, ever put a large down payment on a loan if you don't have to. Use your monies as a prepayment. It will knock years off and save you tons of interest. And he learned this information from a book. So, folks, when you get this book, not only are we going to get such great value out of this book if you get it today, you're also, if you will screenshot the receipt, we're going to tell you what will happen when you screenshot the receipt from getting this book, because we want to give you a 10K card that goes along with it. All right, Kenyatta.
So after you screenshot the receipt, you want to go to ice10klive.com. You want to go to step 3 that says I'm ready. Upload that receipt there. Build out your card to your specifications, including your social media handles, your website, phone number, email address. Let us know where to send it because it is digital. And you'll receive your own 10K card valued at $100 in an hour or less.
All right, folks, I'm getting so excited. Jared, do we have another question on stage?
Yes, yes, yes. I see Jesse popped on the stage. So Jesse, thank you for coming up and let us know what your question is.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity to ask the question. And I learned so much last time you guys had this room, and I had the opportunity to ask the question. But then it just prompted me to have more questions. And so the one question I have today is, what is to stop the bank from calling the note due by implementing a strategy whereby they don't get paid as much?
Oh my goodness, Jesse, that is such a good question. So first of all, while I'm getting that ready, I'm going to pull up a little information. And let me ask you a couple of questions, Jesse. Do you have a mortgage right now? If you're speaking, we can't hear you.
So sorry, I was on mute. I'm thinking about it. I haven't done it yet because I'm considering too many different factors.
Okay, so here's one we're going to put one of these things to rest for you right now. Okay, so I'm going to, let me see what screen that this is going to appear on. All right, so are we sharing the right screen, Kirk? We should be able to see the borrower's right to prepay.
Yeah, we have it.
All right, excellent. Okay, so Jesse, I just put on the screen what's written into every mortgage, the residential mortgage that you're going to get in the U.S. I'm assuming, are you in the U.S.?
I am.
Okay, great. Here's what it's going to say on the mortgage note page. All right, I'm going to read it off to you. It's called the borrower's right to prepay. Okay, so when somebody says this is your right, and you know it's your right, do you have to ask permission at that point?
No.
If it's your right, can they take away your right once you've signed the contract?
No.
No. Okay. So here's what's going to happen once you sign this contract and it says this is your right to prepay this loan. It says something like this: I have the right to make payments of principal at any time before they are due. A payment of principal only is known as a prepayment. So number one, it says that you can make payments on the principal, the amount of money that you owe, before they're due. Meaning if your payment is due on the first of the month, any monies you give the bank before the first of the month are treated in a special way. Got me so far?
Yes.
All right. Here's the second paragraph. When I make a prepayment, I will tell the note holder in writing that I am doing so. Now, every note holder has a different way of informing them in writing how that you intend to make a prepayment. Some do it as simple as putting it on their website and adding a little line that says principal only payments here. And so you would just put your amount of money that you want to pay towards principal on that line. It's as simple as that for a lot of these mortgage companies. Okay. Some want you to send them a letter, a little note. Some maybe want you to put it on if you're sending in a check. putting it on the memo section. If you're paying online, there may be a place to add a note. So however they want you to inform them, just inform them that way. And then they have to apply that money the way that you say. So far, so good?
Yes.
Here is the third and final paragraph, but it is the most crucial. Listen to this. The note holder will use all of my prepayments. How much of my prepayments, Jesse?
Whatever the first 3 months are.
Yep. No, it says the note holder will use all of my prepayments. How much of my prepayments?
All of it.
All of it. Okay. So all the prepayments to reduce the amount of principal that I owe under this note. So all the money you pay will go towards principal. None of it goes to interest.
Okay, so then do I still make my regular payments?
Oh, yeah, you have a regular payment every single month. But if you do this, you just have fewer of them. They want you to make 360.
Okay.
We're going to help you to pay just about 90 instead.
Okay.
Sound good?
Okay. Sounds good.
So it's written into your contract. It's the borrower's right to prepay. Now, here's what you can also, it also says that you have the right to pay in increments, or guess what? You can pay the whole note off. You can pay it all off at any time. That's your right. So you can pay it off early, completely early, like 20 years early.
Okay.
Or 17 years early. But however early it is, you have the right to do that. And that's your guarantee that they cannot change the terms of the loan once you've signed the contract.
So they pretty much use the principal as hostage to get your interest payment.
No, what they're really doing is hoping we never find out what they're doing. Okay, so they use and sometimes this is a negative connotation, but I don't mean it as a negative. They use our ignorance of the system to make money.
Absolutely.
But once we're educated on the system, they can no longer do it. That's why they don't even teach it to their employees.
Right.
Okay.
So that they can do what they need to do.
Exactly. So if you never know how to eliminate the interest cost, then you're going to continue to do what we've always done for the last 88 years, pay 75% more interest than we need to pay. And this is the reason for the P.I.L.L method being here today, so that people can now know you do not have to pay all of that interest. Miss Jessie, do you have any other questions for us today? You have such great questions, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm here to learn.
Okay. So are you thinking about buying a home?
I'm thinking about it sometime next year.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get ahead of it.
Can I ask why you're waiting till next year?
I'm stuck in a rental.
Okay, you're stuck in a rental. What do you mean by stuck?
I just renewed my lease.
Okay. All right. Now, did you know that there are ways of breaking a lease?
Well, do tell.
Listen, sometimes it's as easy as asking, will you let me out of my lease?
I can ask. These people that I rented from, if you really want to hear something ridiculous,
Listen. I'm ready to hear it. Go ahead.
They threatened, because they didn't like how I signed my lease agreement the second time.
Mhm.
They threatened for me to either re-sign my lease agreement or they will give me a notice to vacate. So I told them to give me a notice to vacate because I'm still going to reserve my rights as I signed a lease agreement.
Mhm.
I signed my name and I put all rights reserved. They didn't like it. They threatened to not renew to just give me a notice to vacate, which I'm fine with if they do so. I'm still waiting on that.
Mhm.
So if they give me that, then free to go.
Well, listen. Are you? Do you know? Have you seen Los Callahan on this app? Los Callahan. If you're talking, we can't hear you, Jesse.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
All right. So, are you familiar with him, Los Callahan?
I've seen him. I've seen him on an app on the app
Okay.
before.
I spend a little time with him if I were you, and even if it costs you a couple of bucks to do a consultation, I would talk to him, and he will tell you the law when it comes to signing contracts. And I don't know exactly what that law is. I've heard him talk about it, so I am not going to repeat it. But I'm almost sure that what you did was perfectly legal and they should accept it. They were trying to get you to change it by scaring you. But they should also know that what they're hoping for is that you don't know your rights. That's what they're hoping for. And if they can get you to change it by threatening you and you change it, great. But there may be a reason why you haven't heard from them. Because somebody told them what you did was perfectly legal.
Yes.
So I would talk to Los because I mean, the guy does nothing but read. I mean, he enjoys reading legal papers. I mean, books that would put me to sleep in like 2 seconds. He devoured. Kenyatta, am I telling the truth here about Los?
You're telling the absolute truth.
So listen, send her. Could you?
Hey, Don.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm on the road. Can y'all hear me?
Is that coffee?
It is.
Listen, girl, I haven't heard your voice in so long.
How are you, Don?
I'm doing fine, girl. Talk to us. You got some insight into this thing?
Yes, Jesse. Let me tell you this. It really depends on where you reside, but most likely you will be able to list whatever you have as far as the agreement with a renter when you prove that you're purchasing. I went through something very similar here in Texas where they were trying to say I couldn't get out of my lease. The minute I submitted proof of purchasing a property showing that I was getting ready to buy a home, get the proof and to find out what the state says about it. And I was able to get out of it with no strings attached. And I basically told them to kiss my assets. So, it is a way to get out of it. They can't hold you to a renter's agreement when you're purchasing a home. Doesn't even make sense if you really kind of think about it. So definitely check with your housing authority and check your legal rights. You can do that very easily in the state where you reside to find out what the law says when you're purchasing and you're getting out of a lease. They can't hold you to a leasing agreement when you're in the midst of purchasing and you can prove it. You have to have the proof that you are purchasing. And once you close, you can walk out with no problem. You should be able to. That's one thing that is great about purchasing a property is that it does relieve you of having to be subjected to somebody who is another owner that has you bound to a renter's agreement. So you should be good. This is Coffee. That's my 2 cents, Don. Back to you.
Listen, folks. Here's what I need
Thank you for that.
Here's what I need everybody on the app to listen to and hear this. If you don't get this, you didn't hear anything today, but please get this. Do not let people dictate to you what your rights are. Find out what your rights are. And listen, don't ever accept no from someone who is not authorized to tell you yes. Never accept it. And here's the last piece, Jesse. Never disqualify yourself. Bring all the experts you need to bear to find out for sure if what you can do is what you can do. But please do not disqualify yourself. If you are able, you know how many people I have helped to go ahead and get their house sooner as opposed to later because they found out the truth of the matter as the situation applies to them, and they were able to accelerate the purchase of their home because they now found out we didn't have to wait. Just go ahead and
And
act. Come on.
They always try to trap you into whatever ideology they have in their heads as people who are, offering you somewhere to lease and rent and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, I mean, hell, if I could hold it over somebody's head and I were a landlord, think about the word landlord, I would hold it over their head too if they were oblivious to it. That's the problem, is that we're oblivious to the right details, like what you were saying, Donna. We have so much information at our disposal that we no longer have to be oblivious or ignorant to anything and get that information. And matter of fact, if I were you, I'd get the information and blast them on a Google review. I'm notorious for doing it. When I wanted to get out my lease, they told me this. I went to the state. The state said this. And I'm telling you, it adds value to somebody else, and it keeps them at bay when they try to do things like that to consumers, because a lot of people are they're just dirty and grimy, and they want your money. They want your money at any cost. And regardless of how it affects you and your livelihood and your future, they do not care about you as an individual human being. So definitely do what you have to do to take care of you.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been looking at properties because I plan to see them, just because, I invoked my right to reserve my rights, and they told me that I couldn't.
Well, if I didn't want you to do something, but you didn't know better, I'd tell you too. So
listen here.
Okay.
That's the truth, Don.
All right, so let me give you another quick example, and then I've got a question online, Jared. I got a question from somebody who's streaming. So I'll give you a quick example. I was in the hospital in Alabama, and then finding something out that was very strange. I was on a ventilator for 5 days. I didn't even know if I was going to come out. It was before COVID. This was back in 2017. I was on a ventilator for 5 days. Did you know my wife was there, and in Alabama, if we didn't have paper signed and I was incapacitated, did you know that it is not legal for her to make medical decisions for me as my wife unless we had papers signed saying that she could do that? Most people assume that your spouse can make those decisions for you. So here's what I'm saying, folks. When it comes to things that are legal, don't let people tell you what's really going on. Find out what is really going on for you, and then you will feel so much better. Research everything except nothing. Research everything and accept nothing that people tell you is the truth. Find out for yourself. That's all I got to say. All right, Miss Jessie, do you have any other questions for us today?
That is all. Thank you so much for your time.
You are so welcome. All right, we've got a question online, Kurt. What do we got? All right, he's put it up there. It says, is it a good idea to turn residential property into rental as a way to raise capital to pay down principal on a mortgage? Oh my goodness, this is good. Kenyatta, are you ready? I hope you're not talking to another client. Oh my goodness, she probably is. But Kenyatta, if you can, I need you to jump in on this as soon as you can. So here's the question, folks. We're already in a residential property, okay? And I'm going to move out of that property and turn it into a rental so that I can purchase another property. Let me give you an example of a young family here in Huntsville. All right. That number one, I met them in 2008. In fact, I'll give you two examples. I met this family in 2008, and you can see their story on my YouTube channel. It is the Rosenblum family. And I met them in 2008, and they were fresh out of college. Got it. They had their very first mortgage. They hadn't even been into that thing like 5 months when I met them. They paid that mortgage off in 6.5 years. The next year, their student loans were all paid off for both of them, and they went to private school. Okay, it's expensive, right? So their student loans were paid off in a total of 7.5 years. Their mortgage was paid off in 6.5 years. They then built a new house. Okay, and then they put a renter into their current house, and then it helps them to pay for their new house. That's story number one. Oh, but they're not done. All right. Their oldest is 8 years old this year. Their oldest is 8 years old. Did you realize that next year they will be paying off their third house since 2008 using this program? Oh my gosh. Next, we have another story. Of a family here that says, Don, I think we'll be ready to buy a new home in about 3.5 years after I'm through paying off this loan. I said, why would you wait 3.5 years? He says, well, I want to pay this house completely off, and then I can build a house. I said, do you know the houses are only going to get more expensive? Get your house now. He says, well, I don't have the down payment.
Don, can I ask you a question?
Go right ahead, please.
How many times did they have to pay you since they did 4 houses?
Yes.
Paid it down 4 times
Yes.
or something like that. When you include the student loans, how many times did they have to pay you?
Oh, they paid me once. It's a lifetime program. They paid for it once, but now they'll be paying off their third home next year. Back in 2008.
I don't know if you guys heard that. I wanted you guys to know that. And yes, I heard everything, and I was with the client indeed. But in reference to investment properties, you also have and DS.
You're in the matrix.
To use the rental income. Okay, hold on.
Okay. So while she's getting a better signal, so here's what we're talking about, folks. We're talking about this other client who says, you know what? I want to wait 3.5 years to pay off this house. I said, no, get the house now. And they said, I don't have the down payment. It's a $700,000 house. Okay. And I need a minimum of 10% down. Okay. So that's 70 grand. So where are they going to get 70 grand? I said, oh, well, you've done a really good job of paying down this house early. I mean, a 30-year loan, you paid it off down in just 5 years so that you only have 3.5 years left. That means you've got a ton of equity in this house. So I sent them to my friend down at Bancorp South. And then here in Huntsville, downtown, and if you're in Huntsville, Alabama, go to Bancorp South, ask for Mabenti, tell her Don sent you. All right. And they got a HELOC on their current home. And then out of the HELOC, they were able, which stands for Home Equity Line of Credit. So they got a home equity line of credit. And then they took the $70,000 from that and put the down payment on their new home. All right. And then they're going to put a renter into their current home and then pay off both homes, the $700,000 home and the one that they have 3.5 years left on. All of it's going to be paid off in about 10 years, the old home and the new home, by using the P.I.L.L method. And so I want Kenyatta to jump back in here to say why it is important to understand how you can leverage your current situation to help pay for your next situation. Were you getting ready to tap in on that, Kenyatta?
Are you able to hear me, Don?
Most certainly.
Okay, yes. I was about to tell everybody about the great thing of DSCR, which is debt service coverage ratio. You can actually apply, you guys, the finances that you will receive as a landlord. And that actually reflect as down payment. That actually helps with your buying power. It's a phenomenal skill to be able to use that. And I also want to let you guys know that that is the way that generational wealth is really built. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the BRRRR strategy, but in short, that is also how you create wealth. And that reminds me, Don, don't you have the iceberg strategy?
We most certainly do have the ICE BRRRR strategy, where BRRRR stands for you purchase something, you buy it, then you rehab it, okay? Then after rehabbing it, then you rent it out. After a while, after renting it out for a while, then you can refinance it, cash out, and then you repeat that whole strategy. Now, the ICE BRRRR method means that it refers to the refinance portion to cash out. There are times when you have to wait a certain amount of time so that you can just have enough equity to cash out. But with the with interest cancellation experts information in there, you can cash out 7 to 10 years sooner at a much lower interest cost and build equity 5 to 7 times faster. So you're building equity faster. You're doing it at a much lower interest cost. And then by using this BRRRR method, now you can purchase more property faster, sooner, and cheaper than you would normally be able to do it because of using interest cancellation techniques. Oh my goodness, we are learning so much today. Listen, folks, if you want to know more about this, I'm going to give you two things. I'll give you 2 bits of information. Number one, at the top of the screen here, it says ICE 10K report. You want to click on that link. When you click on that link, and if you're on the streaming platform, it's ICE stands for Interest Cancellation Expert, ICE10KReport.com. And then put in your information there. Follow all the instructions. This is how you can get a savings and earnings report. So you can know the month, day, and year you can be debt free. And then you can know how much interest you can save. But I've got a really good treat for you all. We have 41 people in here right now. I want you to pay attention to my PTR and Kenyatta's PTR. That we're standing right next to E.T., the hip hop preacher, Dr. Eric Thomas. And listen, it was just absolutely amazing and such a blessing that God made a way for me to be able to have E.T. as our keynote speaker at my very first event held in Nashville at the Gaylord Opryland Resort. 5-star resort, 5-star speakers that came in to support, 5-star food, 5-star accommodations, and the number one motivational speaker in the entire world. I want you to hear from Dr. Eric Thomas how he paid off his mortgage faster. Roll the tape, please.
But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you going to keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm going to keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. And so when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't got to do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down from my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest. Do me a favor, take these principles and use them. Make the rest of your life the best of your life. I love you guys. Take care.
Kenyatta, Jared, what did you all think when he mentioned, when he said that program, he pointed straight at me? What did you think about that when you heard that?
I totally identified with the female aspect of wanting security, the woman thing that like understands that nothing lasts forever. And so we need to do something that's going to be concrete, because what if nobody else wants to hear from Eric Thomas? What are we going to do then? So I really, really resonated with what he was saying and was like so happy and so shocked when he said that he used the P.I.L.L method to do that. And so I think it was right on time with inflation and people losing their jobs and things like that. I think that it spoke to even Eric Thomas, who has the money. You know, he still is conscientious enough to be able to attack that interest. That spoke magnitudes.
Yeah, and then for me, it just really emphasized the impact of your message and the fact that not only are you teaching it, but people you teach it to are spreading the word to the point where there's people you're helping on this earth that don't even realize it's coming from you. So the fact that it came around full circle, one of the most influential, popular, motivational speakers had no idea that you basically helped his relationship become stronger by giving his wife security, relieving anxiety of these monthly payments. And what you do is, like, when Dr. Artie Thomas said that, I was like, wow. Um, what you're really doing is, helping improve marriages, helping improve families, taking interest cost that would, basically take away from the generational wealth of our community, and you're bringing it back into his inheritance for his kids and his ability to invest in maybe new real estate properties or invest in new things for his business. And so that's why I'm so, like, honored and you know excited to be here every day. We're here 4 days a week: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern time, Sundays at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, because we never know what person in this audience we could be touching, that could end up touching somebody else, or how we can significantly improve a marriage, family situation, a business, and just overall mental health. Because bills do bring anxiety, and to be able to take a 30-year mortgage and have that satisfaction of having 23 to 20 years where you don't have that monthly mortgage coming in, because you show them the month, day, and year they can be debt free, through the report that you have above, and through your service that's a one-time fee that lasts for a lifetime. It just really reemphasized, like, how important it is what you're doing, and why we're here every day, or every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, sharing this message. Because Jesse can hear this, and then Jesse could share it with Donna, then Donna can share it with Tim, and that's literally three families that are being helped. So that's why we really, really, really would love for everybody to share this room, and then also go to Don's YouTube channel, ice10kvideos.com, and share those YouTube videos as well. Click that share button and share it with your friends and family, because you never know what kind of light bulbs you'll be putting off in their brain, and then what kind of things you'll be impacting their life beyond financial. So yeah, that was my takeaway from Dr. Eric Thomas,
Hey,
having that aha moment that the guy that brought me in to speak actually changed my life.
hey, Jared, you mentioned that he didn't get the information directly from me. He got it from, what do you mean by that?
Well, he didn't even know that it was, like, he didn't sit in a clubhouse room with you, etc. You taught a friend of his, and a friend put him on to the information. And I believe the friend sent him your video, but it didn't necessarily click that you were the person that was the guy that actually gave him this groundbreaking information. So yeah, that's what I took from Dr. Eric Thomas' story. Was it's kind of like a ripple effect that you're doing in the community, which is really dope.
Wow, and that was such a surprise to me as well. I had no idea that ET used this methodology to pay off his mortgage, and he announced it from the stage. So I was very pleased to hear that, and honored that he not only used the methodology, but he gave us credit for doing that. So, folks, listen, we're getting close to the end of the hour. We're at 8:41. We're in the room at the top of the hour. And if you have any questions, now is the time to get in here and ask your question or make your comments. Kelly just came into the room. Let's bring Kelly up. Kelly. So we were just talking about Dr. Eric Thomas and what he had to say at the developing a spiritual money mindset conference. And tell us, what were some of your takeaways while we're waiting for somebody to come up and ask a question?
We're all going to die. Kelly. No, that was the first thing that I wrote down. And it's because it was so impactful. You know, a lot of times we're scared to take risks. We're scared to change our mindset. We're scared to do things, and we're on a clock, you know, and we got to realize that no matter what decisions we make, we're all going to die. And why not do something that can enhance your life while you're here? And that's my takeaway. But the way he said it, you know, he was like, "Oh, you're a vegetarian? You're going to die. You eat meat, you're going to die." And I'm like, we are all going to die. So why not do what we can while we're here with the information that we have to enhance our lives over here?
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Listen, folks, listen, I absolutely love what it is I get to do the 4 times a week that we come in here. And not only that, but we're going to do pop-up rooms every now and then during the day. In fact, I did a pop-up room yesterday that it was completely successful. And so you never know when we're going to pop up. So Jared, if we do a pop-up, how can people know that we're popping up?
Yeah, so the easiest way to make sure you know what Don's popping up is you click on his profile, you click the follow button, but next to the follow button, there's a bell icon. You click that bell icon, and you switch it from sometimes to always. And what that's going to do, it's going to always notify you when Don does a pop up room. And that way, if you see the alert, you can pop in and hear some questions or ask some questions and learn more about the pill method. And Don, I know we got like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes left before we close the room. I figure we can answer a question in the chat that could be a quick one for you. And then we can close out the room with some moderator outros and you can remind people how to work with you. So Paulette asked earlier in the room and she couldn't come up because she's at work and can't speak. But she asked a question that a lot of people probably are thinking, this is amazing for my mortgage. Does this work for my car loans as well?
Most definitely it works for your car loans. Listen, all the loans are amortized the same way. They don't all have the same rules, though, but the amortization formula is the very same. Now, I'll give you an example between the amortization formula for a car loan and the amortization formula for a mortgage. Exactly the same. All right. But the mortgage will only allow you to make full payments because they do the interest cost. They calculate the interest for the entire month. All right. This is why when you pay your mortgage late, there's a flat fee for paying it late. They're not charging you daily interest for paying it late. They just give you a flat fee. Now, a car loan is different. So that it's still the amortization schedule. They are charging you daily interest, but not a whole month's worth. They're charging you daily interest by the day and adding it to the car note. So every day you allow them to charge you interest before making a payment, your interest is mounting up for 30 days. That's a car loan. So you want to ask your bank or your credit union, will they accept a payment from you at any time during the month? And then apply that money to the car note. Now, mortgages don't do that. They only apply the mortgage money once a month. You have to make a complete payment before you can do anything else. But a car is different. So let's say, now the reason why I know that interest cancellation works is once I saw an amortization schedule, and because I have Asperger's, because of my autism, when I see an amortization schedule, I see things in patterns and pictures. I'm not all that good at math. I just, when I see it, it just says, you need to do it this way instead of that way. And if you do, you're going to save interest. And this is what we've been teaching for the last 16 years. So, but when I first started learning this, and I looked at that and I said, you know what? Our car payment is about $400 a month. That's what was for my wife's car. So with a little bit of investigation, I said, well, what would happen if I pay it $100 a week instead of $400 a month? So for the month, they get to add one whole month's worth of interest every day on the unpaid balance, because that's what they're using. So what if I do this? If I pay $100 a week, then I'm paying 1 week's worth of interest on the unpaid balance, and then the rest of the money goes to the balance, and I bring the balance down by a little bit. And then for the next week, I pay interest on a lesser amount, and then I give them another $100. And then I pay for another week on a lesser amount, and then I give them another $100. So all throughout the month, I'm lowering the balance so it makes it impossible for them to charge me the entire month's worth of interest that they wanted to charge me. Well, because of that, more of my $400 went to principal and less went to interest, because I brought the principal balance down throughout the month. And because of that, I got a notice the very next month. Because more of your money went to principal, they said, well, I don't owe a full payment. I owe less than the full payment. What they were trying to do is get me to pay the smaller amount so that they can recoup the interest that I just saved. Oh, I didn't do that. I just kept paying $100 a week. Pretty soon they said, oh, now you're 1 month ahead. You don't owe us a payment. So don't send us a payment, please. Don't send us a payment. We're trying to recoup that interest that you're saving. But I didn't listen. I kept paying them $100 a week. And then pretty soon I was 2 months ahead, and then 3 months ahead. Do you know we paid that car off 2 years early? Just because I paid them the same amount of money each month, but I paid them $100 a week instead of $400 a month. When I realized what was going on with the interest, that we don't have to pay it the way they are asking us to pay it.
Wait a minute, Don. Wait a minute. What you saying?
Exactly. Is that you, Coffee?
I'm over here like, what in the hell is he talking about right now?
I'm glad you said it, because I'm over here like, what?
Kelly, I
With the
almost
same
cussed,
money.
girl. My
With
God.
the same money.
With the same? Oh, he played too much.
Listen, that's what interest cancellation is all about. If you understand interest cancellation, you can pay off loans faster with the same amount of money, because the key is, what can I do to lower my interest cost? Can I give you now? I'll give you another example of that. Okay. And I'll ask this question: is it possible to pay off my credit card faster with just the minimum payment? Coffee, Kelly?
I'm waiting on you for this.
Listen here. I need a drink after this. Go ahead, Doc.
Okay. All right. Now, remember, with your credit card, you're charged interest on the average daily balance. So whatever you owe for 30 days, they're calculating your interest cost on that for 30 days, correct?
Correct.
All right. So I need you to pretend with me, okay? We have $5,000 that we owe on the credit card. And so they're charging me interest for the entire month on the $5,000. So when I make my payment, part of my money goes to pay down the loan, and part of my money goes to pay the interest that they were able to add up for 30 days, correct?
Yes, sir. Keep going.
And
Keep
that was on the $5,000. Now, put that to the side. Now, when we get paid, we put our money generally in a checking account. Is that correct? And
Yes.
and then
Yes,
pay
sir.
and then pay our bills from there. So whether we write checks or we use online banking, but we generally pay our bills from a checking account. Is that correct? I need y'all to
Yes, we
talk.
do.
I need y'all to talk to me because I can't work without talking to me.
Well, I'm listening.
It's the spirit of listen for me, huh?
All right. So here's what I need to ask. Some of the vendors that accept your check, will they also accept your credit card for payment?
Yep.
Okay. So let's just say I have $2,000 worth of bills that I pay by check. That same $2,000 worth of bills, they will also accept my credit card for payment. All right. So here's my question. When I put that $2,000 in my checking account, how much interest do checking accounts pay? How much are they paying me to put that money in the checking account?
Not a dime.
Not a dime. Nothing. Zero. In fact, I got to pay them. Okay. So what if I took that $2,000 instead of putting it in my checking account to pay bills? What if I took that $2,000 and put it on my credit card and lowered my balance by $2,000? Remember, I owed $5,000. When I put that $2,000 that would have generally gone into my bank account, I could put that $2,000 on my credit card, correct? All right. And now how much do I owe on my credit card at that point? Kelly?
What was the original balance?
$5,000. $5,000 on the credit
And you
card.
owe $3 on there.
I owe $3. So they can only charge me interest on what?
On the amount you owe, the $3.
They can only charge me interest on $3. So if I pay let's say now I'm going to pay my cable bill, which is $100 from the credit card. All right. Now I owe another $100. So now that I have to pay interest on what? $3,100. Right. And so I continue to pay my bills, and slowly but surely I use up that $2,000. But here's my question. Did I have a balance of $5,000 for the entire month? I'm waiting, folks. Kelly? Coffee?
Hold on, I need backup because I'm doing something right now, but I'm listening.
Okay.
What was the question?
So if I put $2,000 on, I brought my balance down to $3,000. Okay. And then if I bring it down to $3,000, I slowly use that money, that $2,000, to pay bills. So if I'm using that, I have a balance of $5,000 the entire month?
You did and you didn't.
Yes. But was it for the entire month?
No, not for the entire month.
Exactly. So then I made it impossible for them to charge me $5,000 for the entire month by taking my bill money and setting it on the credit card. Correct? Flame,
absolutely.
Flame, I'm so glad you're here. Okay.
They're going to come and get you at American Express because after I get off this call, somebody's getting a payment.
Okay. So now that I did that, so I'm slowly using that money up. So now I use up the whole $2,000. I'm back to $5,000, but I didn't have to pay interest on the $5,000 the entire month. So when I make the same payment, the same minimum payment I made last month, when I make it this month, can they charge me the same amount of interest that they did last month? Can they charge me the same amount of interest?
No, they can't do that.
Why can't they, Flame?
Because the balances, they fluctuate from one month to the next. So 1 month that you was at 5, the next month you weren't at 5. So they can't charge you the same interest.
So if I make them the same payment, more of my minimum payment automatically goes to principal and automatically less goes to interest. Correct, Flame?
Yes, sir.
So it is possible to pay off your credit card faster using just the minimum payment.
Can we get like a mind blown or something? Some kind of
Right.
mic stomp,
Folks,
clap, twerk.
that's how you understand what interest cancellation is all about. I don't need more money. I just need to find out a way to lower my interest cost with the money I have to use. And I can get out of debt faster and cheaper. And I don't have to steal money away from my family's enjoyment. Come on, everybody.
Wow, yeah, that's a mic drop right there. So if people want to get in touch with you to understand the month, day, and year they can be debt free, and to really sit down with your team for a one-time, lifetime, membership fee, to get this type of guidance and information around their overall debt situation, how would they work with you?
Ladies and gentlemen, what you just learned, number one, you want to get it for you and your family. Click on the link above. It says ice10kreport.com. Or if you're streaming, just type it into your browser, ice10kreport.com. ICE stands for Interest Cancellation Expert. All right. And then that will take you to our page where you can get a savings and earnings report. Now, follow the directions, and then when you verify your cell phone number, we'll send you a code in your messages on your cell phone. Take the code, put the code into the website. The website will let you into a financial form. Fill out the financial form with all of your debt. Leave nothing out. Put it all in. And when you do all of that, then guess what's going to happen? We're going to contact you. And when we contact you, we're going to set up a consultation. And with that consultation, you can know the month, day, and year you're going to be debt free. Not only that, folks, but get my book. Get the book today. And if you go to we can change that to ice10k.com or ice10k live.com, either one. All right. And then you will see the button that says get the book. Get the book because it's the only book on Amazon out of 33 million titles that teaches you how an amortization schedule works and how to defeat it. Oh my goodness. And the last thing we're going to go over after we do the outros, we're going to hear from Dr. Eric Thomas himself to find out how he paid off his mortgage as the last word. Back to you, Jarrett.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Got caught in the back channel answering a question. But so thank you everybody for being part of this room. If you're new to this club and you want to be a part of the rooms moving forward, make sure to click the greenhouse at the top, follow the club, and most importantly, make sure you click on Don's profile in the upper left-hand corner and click follow, but click that bell icon, click always on for the notifications, as he'll be doing spontaneous pop-up rooms in different clubs on Clubhouse. And he's also on some of the best stages when it comes to real estate and financial empowerment on Clubhouse. And also want to shout out all these moderators. You're always curated by who you follow. And we're going to do some outros so that you can understand who's on these stages right now, what kind of rooms they do, what kind of services they have, and how to get in touch with them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through moderator outros from the bottom to the top. And we just want to shout out Flame, who flamed the stage in Nashville and dropped crazy gems. It was super, super dope to meet him in person. If you're not following Flame, you absolutely should. Drops gems all the time. Check out his replays. So Flame, please go ahead and introduce yourself and let people know who you are, what you do, and the type of rooms you do, and anything else you'd like to point them to.
Oh man, thank you, Jared. And Flame Newton here. Listen, I just speak on credit. That's it. anything about credit. I don't care what avenue, what lane, what area, what expertise, as long as it's about credit, right? So you start talking to me about how to pay off your home in 7 years. I'm gonna direct you to Mr. Don. If you start talking to me about real estate, I'm gonna bring you over to certain people. Start talking about e-commerce, I'm gonna bring you to Kelly. Like these are the things that I want you to know. I just talk about credit. Ways that you can contact me is meetflame.com. Currently, and within the next 20 minutes, I'll be live gracing the stage from a Zoom session with 2,000 people in India, the country of India, where I'll be talking about, well, actually, we're talking about event planning and how does credit work into that and that sort of system, because credit is around the world. So that's what I'm getting prepared for right now for this big presentation over there. I mean, it's a big one for me because I'm in a whole nother country, India. But with that being said, listen, make sure that you curate with other people that are on the stage. Jared, thank you. Thank you for everybody that's on the stage and what you bring to the game. And with that being said, I yield the mic.
Appreciate you, Flame. Up next, Kelly. Please introduce yourself for an outro.
Hey everyone, I'm Kelly Russell. I'm the owner of Self Care Holistic Retail and Warehouse locations in Wilmington, Delaware. I also help other business owners scale their business by helping them acquire business credit. And I also help them scale their businesses by being a drop shipping partner with them for your brand. So if anything interests you in my bio, feel free to connect. Thank you for having me. As usual, thanks, Jared. Thanks, Don.
Awesome. Coffee, are you available to do an outro?
I'm selling an insurance policy right now, Jared.
All right. So make sure you click on Coffee's profile, check out her bio. She does a lot of amazing things on the app, off the app. And she also can be reached on her 10K card, coffee10k.com. So the spelling of her name, KOFFE, 10k.com. All right, Vernita, please do an outro.
All right, love it, love it. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Don, as always, for the space. It's always good to see Credit Goddess, everyone in the room. I am so sorry I was not able to be in the building in Nashville. I know that it was amazing. And I'll just quickly say, for anyone that I haven't met, my name is Vernita Adele. I am an anti-racist strategist, award-winning writer, and entrepreneur. And so I love this space because I am all things equity and inclusion and anti-racism. And I always say that Don and what he has created with the P.I.L.L method, it is revolutionary. So when we think about the system of white supremacy and everything that is designed to maintain the economic disenfranchisement of our people, to understand truly how the system works and then to be able to take action to give ourselves a better chance and a better opportunity to build wealth, to build our own economies. It is a revolutionary act. Don, I have signed up for my savings report. I just wanted to prompt anyone in the audience, if you have not already, make sure that you keep coming back to this room. Click on the links, get the book, get your savings report, because there is no reason for you to continue to pay interest on debt when you do not have to. The last thing I will say, for anyone who wants to tap in, I help both companies and individuals beat this anti-racism thing, get an understanding around this equity and inclusion thing. So you can tap my bio on Instagram to get more information. You can also hit me up at Vernita10k.com for more details. And I'm Vernita Adele. Black people are America's hot sauce. And I'm done speaking for the moment.
All right. Up next is the amazing Credit Goddess. Please give a quick outro and let people know what you do and how they can get in touch with you.
Yes, yes, yes. You guys can reach me at the number on my bio. That is 888-557-5778. Text your name and email address to that number. An automatic email will be, well, a link will be sent to you. You can book your free consultation with me where I explain to you what my services are. And then the paid consultation is a detailed credit analysis, which will pretty much break down what's affecting your credit and what we're going to do to improve it. Even if you hire me for services or not, it's a blueprint to know exactly what's going on with your credit. So if you need a copy of that in detail, definitely tap in with me. That is the paid consultation. It's just $50. Do that. That will empower you to get your credit together. So that way you can gain access to other people's money, get the best interest rates, always get approved, never denied. That's the name of the game. And then you can turn around and use Don P.I.L.L method to pay off and pay less in interest costs. That's what it's all about. Let's gain access to other people's money. Let's build these bank relationships, and let's build wealth with using other people's money. My name is Rose Laura Lewis, also known as Credit Goddess. Thank you for tapping in with me or with us. We'll see you guys on Friday.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Jared Alberton. Long story short, on this app, I support rooms that promote and provide tangible access to generational wealth. I've been in the tech space for over 15 years, so that's what I do on this app is I help people get into tech through tech career rooms with 40 plus recruiters. I'm also doing rooms on the metaverse, and I also do rooms with Don. I do rooms in Women in Business. I do rooms in the Startup Club, highlighting opportunities to get generational wealth. So if you want to see the variety of rooms I do, check out the replays in my bio. If you want to be alerted about the rooms when I do them, feel free to give me a follow. And also you can check me out on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, where I'm also very active. Next is Kenyatta.
As always, we appreciate your presence and pray that we've earned the privilege of your time. I am Kenyatta. You can find me at Kenyatta10K, and I can assist you with finding a deal, financing that deal, canceling the interest on that deal to get you in yet another deal. Have a beautiful day, and go ahead and share this room with those that you love, because this is the way that we combat inflation, you guys. This is the way. So please share, and again, enjoy your day.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we have for you here is a way to eliminate debt, not with more money, but by paying less interest. You want to be able to understand that. So once you do that, here's what you're going to do. You're going to understand by clicking on the link above, ice10klive.com, and there's a button in there that says get a savings and earnings report. Get your savings and earnings report. Learn the month, day, and year you're going to be debt free. And also get my book. It is the only book on Amazon that talks about how to understand an amortization schedule, how to defeat it, how to pay a lot less interest, and the technology it takes to get it all done. So get that book, and also get your 10K card that we're going to give you for buying the book. Here's the last thing, and here's one of the most important things you're going to hear today. All right. Listen, the P.I.L.L method is the most powerful debt reduction, wealth creating program on the planet. And the number one motivational speaker in the entire world uses the P.I.L.L method. Why not you? Roll it, and then we're out.
Guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you going to keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm going to keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. And so when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't got to do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest. Do me a favor, take these principles and use them. Make the rest of your life the best of your life. I love you guys. Take care.